Hello my friends and welcome. This is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go straight to the south front lines near to Kherson Oblast. There Ukraine achieved tiny little goal, but still our guys took more ground in the FPV Village. I'm speaking about this part of the land, and we have two assault vectors from the Ukrainian side trying to get the settlements under control. Basically it's the single residential area that goes all in parallel with the Dnipro River. Just the names are different. For example, here is Krinky, later on it's Kazachi Lahiri, and so on. So Russia uses it as their defense line. Likely Ukraine established control over this area. Also today we have received the fake information from the Russian channels that they start to withdraw their forces from this part. This information was spread by one of the main Russian media resources. They related to the statement from the Russian Defense Ministry. However, later on they disapproved this information. Probably they announced it a little earlier, so Russia maybe thinks to withdraw their forces from this part. There are already many of the conspiracy theories around this fake information. Maybe, as I say to you, it was the early warning, and Russia could plan this operation of withdrawal of their forces from this part. This part is on the lower ground, so Russian forces are under constant Ukrainian artillery fire, and Ukraine also used HIMARS systems to target the Russian ammunition depots and command centers. For Ukraine, we need to achieve this goal. We need to take this part at least under control in the future, because it will give more freedom for our commercial ships to go to Odessa ports. By the way, today there was the video released about the ship that was attacked by the Russian cruise missile, and you'll see it. It's just terrible. Sorry guys, it's hard for me to talk to you today because I have the fever and the pain in my throat, so hopefully you understand what I say. And I want to show you the report of the media resources in Russia, how they spread, first of all, the misinformation about the Russian forces withdrawal from Kherson Oblast. Judging on the situation, the command of the Dnieper group decided to send the forces to more profitable positions on the east from the Dnieper River, the Russian Defense Ministry. So they relate to the Russian Defense Ministry. After the regrouping of the Dnieper forces, they call the forces on the left bank of the Dnieper River the Dnieper Group. Many of the soldiers or forces would be released to act more freely on the counteroffensive directions, said in the Russian Defense Ministry. Let's go to not so good news. Russia started their counteroffensive near to Bakhmut. They have the vectors towards Andriivka and towards Klishchiivka. Before, Ukraine had the advantage in this area. However, around 3 weeks ago, Russia already tried to move to Klishchiivka. However, they were absolutely devastated by Ukrainian defenders, so now they try once again, and today they extended the gray zone, so the fighting is ongoing very close to Andriivka again. If we check out the military map, the fighting is ongoing just in this area, but also Russia advances on the northern part from the Bakhmut city towards Hromovo, expanding the gray area again. So it was yesterday and it is today. The fighting is very close to Hromovo, unfortunately. Before, Ukraine got the initiative trying to encircle the Bakhmut city, but now initiative belongs to the Russian Federation because they sent more reinforcements, and the situation for the weather, by the way, there is not really nice. By the way, we have the new feature of the deep state military map. You may check out the weather. So here's the wind direction and the temperature in degrees centigrade, so around 7 degrees near to Avdiivka, and the similar stuff in Bakhmut. You may also check the precipitation over there. It was raining a couple of days ago. The rain, as you can see, is over here around Crimea. You may also check the clouds, and for the winter time the snow depths. Near to Pervomaisk, the Donetsk Oblast, Ukraine took some of the ground, and also Russia took the ground. Russia took the fields and Ukraine got the village, the part of the village, under control. So the situation is more or less equal over there. This is the situation in the trenches on the Bakhmut direction. As you can see, it's very difficult for our guys to stay in defense. At the same time, it's very difficult for the Russian forces to go in offensive operation. Well, I expect more or less standstill situation on the front lines because of the mud. This photo with the Ukrainian Bradleys was published today. As you can see, there is the new identification sign, which could mean that probably Ukraine is planning for one more operation. Could be across Kherson, who knows. Our guys are sending the fresh forces across the Dnieper River in Kherson Oblast. Probably it is Krinky, so we have the rotation of our guys and it's awesome. The weather is foggy and it helps to hide our troops on the river. Again, Russia tried to assault near to Avdiivka and all of their forces were as usual demolished. So we have some of the video. I cannot publish it on YouTube, but I published it on my Telegram channel because there are lots of the Russian infantry that was kaputted and this platform is not good with that stuff showing on the screen. So if you want to see the full video, you may check out my Telegram. What I can show you is the demolishment of the electronic warfare RB636 Svet Ku. This is a very expensive thing and Russia already lost 3 of them, including this unit. HIMARS was used to attack this very exclusive Russian vehicle. Big kaboom and the vehicle is disabled. Remember I was speaking about the ATV vehicles that China supplied to the Russian Federation. We're speaking about 2,000 of the units. Well, according to the latest information, they have already been spotted on the front lines. This lady is probably the Russian volunteer or something, so we may confirm that those being delivered, and those vehicles are crucial to deliver, for example, artillery shells to the artillery positions. One more sign that China supports Russia in this war. More FPV drone videos were released showing the great job of the Ukrainian drone operators hitting the Russian military and many of the other stuff. You can see how precisely the vehicles might be targeted with the help of the FPV. I think that it is the most effective weaponry against the moving targets like supply vehicles, tanks, armored vehicles, infantry, whatever, and we have many of them. It is awesome. Unfortunately, from what I can see, mostly FPV drones are purchased with the help of the volunteers and Ukrainian citizens and also donations from abroad. The Ukrainian military is obviously interested in this kind of the weaponry, but I don't see that Ukrainian budget gives lots of the sums to purchase the FPV drones for Ukrainian army. Unfortunately, from what I see for this day, Ukrainian volunteers do a much better job compared to Ukrainian government. If we speak about the FPV drones, it's a very effective tool and we need more of them. According to the information that comes from the Ukrainian independent media resources, the new Ukrainian Defense Minister Umerov is looking to dismiss some of the Ukrainian generals. And we are speaking about well-known general Alexander Tarnovsky and Sergei Naiv. According to origin of this information, Naiv could be even prosecuted because according to the case, he was responsible for the defense of the southern front lines at the very beginning of the Russian full-scale attack on Ukraine. Also, Tatiana Ostashchenko, who is the commander of the medical armed forces, is also going to be dismissed by the defense minister. Well, for now we have this information just from Ukrainian Truth, which is the independent resource, but mainly they say truce. Mr. Pistorius, the head of the German defense, confirmed that Germany will increase the military support of Ukraine by 2 times next year. So we expect around 8 billion euros to be not delivered to Ukraine, but we expect the military units, armored vehicles and many more to be sent to Ukraine. Basically ammunition and military support. We need it a lot. As for the F-16s, we expect to receive them this winter, right after the new year. Our pilots are going through the type rating course in the United States of America and also in Romania. They already started the practical flying. We have the confirmation that the United States of America bought 60 of the Gepard anti-aircraft systems from the Jordan, and they will deliver those to Ukraine very soon. Also move 60 units, that's a lot. The price for those units is 110 million euros. I wonder if they need some maintenance before going to Ukraine, so maybe they will be delivered to Germany at first for the check and then move to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Hungary blocks the military support of Ukraine by €500 million because they want the security guarantees that OTP Bank will not be the part of the list of the financial organizations that support the war. So Ukraine excluded this bank from the list, but Hungary still needs some guarantees. I don't know what to say, but they're blocking the military support. That's bad. For the long time, the first figures of the Ukrainian losses were published. Those were published by the Economist journal. They say that Ukraine lost around 70,000 soldiers killed and up to 120,000 wounded. Well, as I told you before, those figures are quite realistic. I expected around 100,000 soldiers dead. Unfortunately, because I see what is happening on the Ukrainian cemeteries, how many of the Ukrainian flags that just belong to Ukrainian soldiers who lost their lives are there. The number is huge, unfortunately. So this is the video I want to show to you. This is that civilian ship that was targeted by the Russian missile. Unfortunately, some of the people lost their lives and were wounded because of this attack. And including Ukrainian, not the captain, he was the navigator in this particular port. Usually navigators go to the ships to guide them across the port because they know the surroundings. So we call them pilots also. So as you can see, the massive devastation to the ship, and after this accident, Ukraine is not sending new ships with the grains out from the Odessa ports. We have some interesting news from the Kharkiv region. The TOA Village was taken by Ukrainian forces and our soldiers went to the border with Russia. It's small but great achievement at the same time. However, later on we got the information that Ukraine is still unable to establish the constant control over TOA because Russia started to fire to that village, so it is hard to keep the ground over there. Kind of interesting article from the Washington Post blaming Ukraine for the Nord Stream pipeline attack happened last year. Journalists performed some sort of the investigation. They say that Roman Chervinsky, who is now jailed, is responsible for that stuff. He obeyed directly to the General Commander Zaluzhny, and they also say that President Zelensky was unaware about this attack. Well, what can I say? I need to study this topic more precisely, but I don't believe that couple of guys using just a sailboat were able to conduct this very sophisticated operation. Alright my friends, now please press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, there will be some of the links in a video description just below. You may support me on Patreon or just on the sponsorship of this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your awesome support. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.